Could you help me understand a little bit about what we know about how food additives interact with ADHD?
The challenge with a lot of this information is that there is some research that shows that food dyes, particularly Red 40, has been associated with short-term exhibiting of things like hyperactivity or challenges with attention, or even worsening of behaviors. And the core here is that the research talked about it as being a momentary experience. You ingest the substance for a period of time, the body reacts, and this is in some kids, this is not every kid. And in turn, because you have this momentary sort of symptom, it can make things difficult for kids who react to those different additives in the dyes. The reality here is that talking about causation is really a key. There's no evidence that it is causing ADHD, and I want to emphasize this. We're talking about red dyes showing symptomatology in some kids in some situations that make their functioning a little more challenged. There's no evidence that is a causative factor in ADHD. In fact, if you're not ingesting the substance a little later, then those reactions go away. The causation has not been proven, and I think the challenge here for so many folks is that the common sense is that if we can avoid certain additives and dyes and things that aren't naturally in our food, okay, that makes sense. That doesn't sound like a bad thing. Talking about causation, talking about one thing leading to another requires a pretty high level of scientific proof, and it just doesn't exist.
Sure, if you ate something that had red dye 40 in it, a kid might be more hyperactive or have more intense ADHD symptoms for a little while.
Correct, exactly.
But like having red dye when you're a kid doesn't suddenly make you have ADHD. It doesn't cause ADHD.
No, and very clearly that's not what the data says. The data says we're seeing an association of people reacting to the dyes, but there's no evidence of any causation with this. ADHD is a disorder that occurs from a wide combination of factors, be it genetics and other factors within brain and development. So it's not something that's been proven to be caused by something like a short-term ingestion of a dye or some sort of food.
It's not something you're getting just because you decided to eat a fruit roll-up.
You're not acquiring ADHD. You're not catching ADHD. This isn't the common cold. This isn't something that you're going to get from exposure to something in the short term.